There's been some leaked on-set photos from season 2 of House of the Dragon that suggest that White Boy Winter is back, baby. Might be some undead and maybe even a spotting of the White Walkers for House of the Dragon. Gator, when you first heard this, what'd you think?
I mean, like I said, I was kind of a fan of White Walkers back in Game of Thrones, unlike you, but it's still the weakest part of the show. And I'm not even talking about the ending, how it all climaxed, because obviously, everybody thinks that sucks. But even going back to it, I was never super enthused about the White Walkers compared to the political intrigue happening down at King's Landing or whatever kingdom we were talking about. Like, if I could see Stannis chilling out on that balcony, I'd take that over seeing some White Walker development 100% of the time. So now we're talking about House of the Dragon, which, dude, in my opinion, the political intrigue in season 1 was so fucking good, dude. It was so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this is a good move for them. I don't want to waste what little screen time we have, because House of the Dragon moves kind of a million miles a minute compared to Game of Thrones. So given that, I don't really want to waste time up at the wall. I don't think I shouldn't say that. The wall is okay. I just don't want to waste time with the supernatural stuff until we really have all of the non-supernatural political stuff ironed out,
Right, and it depends how they pace it out, because in Game of Thrones, early on, is very well paced. A lot of political intrigue with just the flavor of the mysticism or, fantasy elements of either the dragons or the zombies, the whites beyond the wall. And here we already have dragons, so we don't really need that extra magic flavor in here like you did in kind of Game of Thrones and King's Landing. But yeah, I think the weakest part for House of Dragon is whenever we got King Viserys, they try to shoehorn in the prophecy of, it wasn't the Song of Ice and Fire, but it was
that's
just
what they called it, but yeah.
Did they call it the Song of Ice and Fire?
They literally called it the Song of Ice and Fire, yeah.
From my blood come the prince that was promised, and his will be the song of ice and fire.
Because there is this is not spoiling anything for House of the Dragon, but there's a pact known as the Pact of Ice and Fire, I think. And, in the books, Fire and Blood, they do go north, but it's not a huge part about it. And they could expand it, make it a whole big kind of arc or half the season, with Jace being up there. We also saw pictures on set of the Night's Watch, so that's why we're kind of leaning towards we might see the wall, also an on-set picture of the wall. So I always felt like that was the weakest part about it, that House of the Dragon was trying to connect itself to Game of Thrones. I don't need that. I really don't. I really just care about the political intrigue down in King's Landing, everything below the neck, nothing really north of, whatever you want to say, the Twins. I really don't care about that, because everything I'm invested in is down south.
I wouldn't mind seeing some political stuff involving like Winterfell and even the Wall. Like, it's okay if we see some kind of character that's relevant up there to what's happening. But, when we go into Game of Thrones, just a couple hundred years after House of the Dragon, they talk about the White Walkers and the Whites as if they're this completely unseen thing for thousands of years, to where people don't even believe they exist anymore. Like, half the people at the Wall probably don't even think that is what exists. The main threat is the wildlings, right? And Mance Rayder's army, which is totally understandable. So if we went more in that direction, it'd be okay. But yeah, we have this picture, this like behind-the-scenes photo that was leaked of it's a poster board with many pictures, and it's labeled Undead, and it definitely looks like there's some faces like with prototype prosthetics or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, they look very gaunt.
It looks gaunt. It looks sunken in. It definitely looks like they might be going for a zombie sort of thing. And that's just something I would rather not waste time with. It seems like in Game of Thrones, it hadn't been seen in so long. So that tells me if they're trying to stay true to that continuity, even if we do see some kind of a plot point with that in House of the Dragon, the people can't survive, and they can't relay the message to anybody, not even anybody at the Night's Watch. In Game of Thrones, there was no one at the Night's Watch who passed on any message like, oh yeah, dude, sure, like this thing has been widely known to be extinct for a few thousand years, but we actually had a few guys that reported back seeing some of this stuff like less than 300 years ago. That didn't happen. So I don't think that we should see it at all. Don't even waste time. It blows my mind they would even think it's a good idea as some sort of like a nostalgia cash grab, considering how poorly it turned out. Like, they can't retroactively make it cool when it ended so horribly. And like you said, they already shoehorned in the prophecy thing that's clearly referencing the White Walkers. So I think that's enough. Just leave it at that and give me more Daemon and Aemond. That's all I need.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on the same page with you. Just give me more of, the actual Dance of Dragons instead of this stuff, because what am I going to get from it? Oh, the White Walkers are coming. You're just going to remind me this building, tension or fear that's beyond the wall you're just gonna remind me of the end of Game of Thrones again. I'm like, stop, just stop. Let me just enjoy what you're giving me here instead of reminding me of the future, which sucked. And it's not House of Dragon's fault why season 8 of Game of Thrones sucked so bad, but they have to understand the context in which they're making this show, and they should just try to remove themselves from it. But if it's just a glorified Easter egg, it's like, okay, cool, but I hope it's nothing more than that. Like, some guy goes beyond the wall and then just sees these guys, and then that guy's never seen again, right? It's almost like season 1 or season 2 of Game of Thrones, where you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? Really doesn't matter. But then again, it just feels so shoehorned in, right? Just like, then why even doing this? Because they're only giving us 8 episodes this season. I want this season to be tight and very action-packed, very heavy, very dense. But this is just like extra.
I agree, and see, this is the thing too, though. If they wanted to, I guess Fire and Blood is kind of a little dichotomous term. What they could do is like a Fire and Ice sort of like sister series if they really wanted to. So we could have House of the Dragon airing currently, and they could start another spin-off that deals exclusively with the stuff at the Wall and Beyond. Or I guess maybe Winterfell and Beyond is a better point, because then at least we get a little bit more familiarity there. And I can't really imagine really what they would do beyond the Wall to that extent. So that would be kind of cool. And then you could delve into that stuff a lot more, because if it's totally beyond the Wall, I mean, you could have a ton of interactions with White Walkers and wildlings completely. That's on the table. These guys that are 100% sure this stuff exists because they get attacked by them and stuff. So I don't think that would be a bad idea, but trying to put it all into one series, especially with only 8 episodes, it's strange. I'm not saying there's no place for White Walkers in this franchise anymore. It's just in this specific show, it's like, come on, man, it's a waste of time.
The only justification I would have for why this should be in here, or why I would ever find it would be okay. What I do want, and if this is going to tie into this, then I'm totally on board. Craster's Keep origin. Somehow find out that, there maybe is like a title, kind of like the Sorcerer Supreme. It's like, hey, you will stay here and have incest babies and feed us.
You
and
will
he's like,
fuck your daughters until the end.
Give
of
us
time.
your sons.
Right, dude, give me that. That'd be sweet. Especially, what if he's badass? Like the original Craster or whatever fought these White Walkers. Because why would the White Walkers make a deal with him if they didn't have to? Like, they could just keep taking. The Wildlings are a much more unlimited source of, human beings. Like, they're reproducing on their own. But if Craster, like, single-handedly fought back the White Walker army, and he's such a Giga Chad, and he just happens to be sexually attracted to his own family. That's just a happy coincidence for the White Walkers. Yeah, oh no. And the White Walkers just say, listen, man, you just keep doing what you're doing and give us the babies because you don't like being a responsible father. Like, we can all win here. That'd be great, dude. I want to see Giga Chad Craster the first.
Keep your money. I want your baby. Dude, that's the only way I'm on board with these extra whites, or these extra White Walkers, or whatever they're going to have beyond the wall here.
I'm anti-white.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and smash that like button.
Or not. We don't care.